Good morning. Thank you for all attending and welcome to the all-new Poppy Ridge. We're all really excited to have you here today. It's really a great day for the organization and all the teams that were involved in this. And for those of you who know our CEO, Joe Huston, Joe, you can add 2 to your card because you got us started late, so thanks. It's hard to believe that about 13 months ago, we were beginning the major portion of this project that you see all behind you. And it's been an incredible effort by the team members, some of which you'll meet along the way. And with that, I'd like to introduce our NCGA president for 2025, Mr. Kevin Payton.
Thank you, Steve. How about this, huh? We're super excited to be here today. I can't tell you how happy we are the outcome of this project. It's really it's been a joy to have a front row seat to this thing, and I'm sure the rest of my board colleagues would feel the same way. This is the outcome of a lot of decisions, and fortunately, a lot of those decisions were good ones. Okay, that's an insert laugh track right there. At any rate, so I want to thank a lot of the folks that are here today. You're gonna hear speakers behind me that will talk in more detail about specific individuals and groups that did this work and built this project for us. Of course, the NCGA board, the Poppy Holdings board. There's a number of past presidents, current directors. I want to thank the media for being here today. The project team, the folks from USGA, SCGA, NCPGA, GCOA, and CGSSA. We're really happy you're all here to share this day with us. It's a really exciting member benefit for us, as you, I'm sure, know. NCGA provides many benefits to our members, not less than the 2 golf courses. And the NCGA, as you may or may not know, is instrumental in helping Pebble Beach Company build Spyglass back in 1966, and then we were blessed to be able to purchase land in Pebble Beach, and in 1986 built Poppy Hills, which recently went through a renovation in 2014. And now here we are. We built this golf course originally in 1996, and now here we are with a complete renovation. And we think as a member benefit, our members are really going to enjoy this golf course, both the high handicappers like myself and also those good golfers that will be challenged by this golf course and rewarded for their good play. I should also mention that NCGA was the first AGA to own a golf course, and we are still the only AGA that has 2 golf courses to provide to our members. This is a special location for us because it does reach 60% of our members live within 60 miles of this property versus driving to Pebble Beach, so we're really happy to be able to provide this for them. And again, I want to thank the NCGA and Poppy Holdings directors for the vision and oversight to make this thing happen. We couldn't be happier. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Susan Morse, who's the chair of the Poppy Holding Board. Thank you.
Hi there. This is such an exciting day for all of us. I think for golfers everywhere, for the NCGA. And as our advertising says, this is a new era, and we're really looking forward to it. To me, this is a brand new course, and to me, it represents something in Japanese. It's an 8th century concept called shake. And what that means is you use borrowed scenery. And what I love about this course is, when you play this course, you're going to be seeing Mount Diablo, you're going to be seeing cows, you're going to be seeing wineries, you're going to be seeing mountains. And just to bring all that in, I think it's going to make this just a unique experience for our members. I am in the fortunate position of just being chair this year. I'm the lucky one who gets to take credit, but it really was an amazing group effort so far. We only broke ground here about 13 months ago, so this is kind of amazing. I mean, of course, anyone who's ever been involved with golf knows you don't just break ground and it happens. You spend time on concepts and all that kind of thing before, permitting, hiring the right people, getting the right people in place. The concept for a course out here, as Kevin mentioned, was to have a course out here where 60% of our members live within 60 miles. And so in the 1990s, we bought the ground, and then by 96 had constructed a three-course, 9-hole effort here. And it became clear to us several years ago that with our antiquated irrigation system and our greens and our bunkers, that we were going to need to spend some money and fix it up so that our conditioning here would be equal to our great conditioning down at Poppy Hills. We were lucky at the time. We had a president named Gary Fox, who was the head of NCGA at the time, and we had boards. And those boards were willing to turn it over to us and say, okay, go ahead, spend the money, get it done. It makes sense. You know, we have reserves that can help pay for this. So as we got comfortable with that idea, we decided we needed to develop criteria. And the criteria, there were many, but I think the four most important were, one, build an 18-hole course that was in excellent condition, that would work for players of all levels, including me, as well as NCGA championships. And I think we've been able to accomplish that. We also wanted to improve the opportunity for walking. I think walking is so important to the game of golf, and I think we've been able to do that. We wanted to support player development for all of our members. And the way you do that is you have excellent teaching like we do, you have great practice facilities like we do now, and we have a 9-hole course that family and friends can come out and just play 9 holes and not feel intimidated, as many of us do, by big 18-hole famous courses. And then we wanted it to support conditioning that would be, as I said, equal to our other course. And by having irrigation and greens and having the grass that's really more appropriate out here, the Bermuda grass, we've done that. But all of that had to be within the range of being affordable for our members and for players. So we did all that, and we interviewed about 15, or contacted about 15 different designers. We ended up with Blasi Golf, and we're very thrilled with what Jay has done. And he shared the same values we had of playability for all our members. He shared the same visions that we had. We had a president down at Poppy Holding who had been president of NCGA named Chris Clark. He came along and he helped steer us in the beginning of this effort. And then we were followed by John Dodsworth, who was our chair of Poppy Holding for the last 2 years. And he was one who really encouraged teamwork among all the players. And as you can imagine, there are players, there are shapers, there are contractors, there are consultants, there are lawyers, you know, there's a lot of them. And so we were lucky that teamwork was really what happened. We had great weather. I can't say great weather. We had decent weather. We had member support. We were able to fund this thing internally. We were able to get it built on time and ahead of budget. I mean, these things, I'm a member of Olympic Club. These things never happen where I come from. So this is a great deal. Anyway, our thanks to we had a lot of help from former board members of NCGA, former board members of Poppy Holding, and we called them all our advisory committee, and we brought them in for all of the key decision-making that went on in that time. We were really lucky at the time to have Steve Schroeder on our staff, who's standing right here. He's built golf courses or been part of teams building them around the world, and so to have Jay and to have Steve, and then we had Brett Armstrong, who kept the lights on here, kept the property running, even achieved rounds in excess of what we thought. And by the way, they came up with this concept of our container for our snack bar, which is really going to be fun. I think someone said we need to put some logos and decorate the building a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get that done. So, as I say, we were lucky. It was teamwork, and due to, as I say, great management, great fiscal management, again, thanks to Anna and others, we were able to get this done with internal funds, which is really unheard of. So lastly, I want to remind people that the mission of Poppy Holding, and again, we are the for-profit subsidiary owned by NCGA, the mission of Poppy Holding is to enhance the enjoyment of golf and to inspire other members to play. And I think if this doesn't inspire people to get out here and play golf, I don't know what's needed. So I think our course is going to provide what we want for our members and for the community as a whole. It is now my pleasure to turn it over to Jay Blasi, which is our designer.
Wow, we made it. This is truly a dream come true. It's been a long journey and a wonderful one at that. I'm so honored to be here with you today. I'd like to give special thanks to Joe Huston, Steve Schroeder, the entire NCGA board, the Poppy Holding boards over the last few years. It's really been a fun journey, and I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be part of this team. When I mentioned that this is a dream come true, it truly is for me. Golf's been a part of my life my whole life. My dad brought plastic clubs to the hospital when I was born. He had built a putting green in the backyard, so I came home to a green there. I've been doodling golf holes since I was 5 years old. This is all I've ever wanted to do. So this is truly a dream come true. My dad and my brother flew out here from Wisconsin for this event, so I want to thank them for coming out. Dad, Josh. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to kind of go back down memory lane a little bit. I went back. The first email I got about this project was November 30th, 2021, from Brett Armstrong, the GM. Since that time, Brett and I have exchanged 1,562 emails and maybe equal number of text messages and whatnot. I immediately came out and toured the property, and like I hope all of you do, I just fell in love with this landscape. You know, I come around the hill, and every time I get excited when I see the golden hillsides, the landscape dotted with the oak trees. It just gets me excited every time. I remember coming home that night and telling my wife all about how exciting this opportunity was, how great the land was, the opportunity to work with the NCGA, have a place that's built for all members and gets people into the game and kids, all the things that I really love and believe in. And like she always does, she allowed me to wax poetic, and at the very end she said, now if you get this job, you're going to be able to do school drop-off and take out the trash, right? And I said, yes. So she said, well, if that's the case, then I want this project too. So I can report that I did pretty well on the school drop-off, not so good on taking out the trash. But my wife Janine, my son Bennett are here today. I'd like to thank them for all their love and support. Bennett, who's 6, helped build the golf course. He came out during construction. He is an expert rock picker, and I think he's got future shaper written all over him. So thank you, buddy. As we went through the long interview process, it took about 6 months, and I remember through that journey, I was getting more and more excited, but I didn't know if kind of what I was saying was resonating with the group. One of the many things that I learned while I worked at RTJ2 was about the subliminal messaging and how you can kind of win people over. I made sure that I was always wearing blue and orange for the NCGA. We had big Poppy Holding and Poppy Ridge logos all over the plans and everything. So I know that NCGA Hall of Famer Robert Trent Jones Jr., Poppy Holding board member Bruce Charlton are here today. Thank you guys. Appreciate all your support. So here, the date set for the final interview, it's going to be May 10th, 2022. Unfortunately, I'm scheduled to be at Kiowa Island hosting a Golf Week event where I'm captaining a Ryder Cup team. So in order to win the job, I've got to give up my captaincy in Kiowa. I'm proud to report that my team, with a guest captain, brought home the cup, but I won something much bigger, and that was the opportunity to craft something really important here in our own backyard and make an impact. I'll never know for sure what got me the job. Maybe it was the yellow and the orange and the blue clothes, but I think it was what Susan referred to in that our visions kind of aligned. And to talk about those visions, there were really kind of 3 key elements. Number 1 was showcasing the beautiful landscape. Number 2 was crafting a course for everybody. And the third was keeping it affordable. I love this landscape. Every time I come out here, I get excited. It's big, it's bold, it's beautiful. It's a postcard of what California wine country is. I think the key in order to highlighting that landscape was to try to naturalize the property and reroute the golf course. And so we tried to naturalize the setting by kind of removing the artificial elements that were out here. There was a lot of artificial mounding. There had been some ponds and different things that had been added, and we tried to kind of scrape those parts away and have the golf course tie more naturally into the surrounding. Probably the most important decision as we looked at this overall was rerouting the golf course, and what you're going to play today is completely new. All 18 holes were rerouted, And what that did was that allowed us to take a golfer on a journey across this beautiful landscape and do so in a way that's more walkable. For those of you who like to walk, the walk today should be about 2,000 yards and about 400 feet fewer than you had before. So hopefully, as you play the golf course today, you'll feel that it ties into the landscape and that it looks like it's been there forever. The other portion of the vision was to make it fun and playable for everybody and yet challenge the best. And that's something you probably hear all the time from pretty much any golf course. They kind of talk about those things. They're much harder to achieve. We're really lucky here to have a canvas that would allow us to do that. So as you go around today, what you'll notice is that almost every hole is going to have about 150 plus yards of teeing grounds. So that allows us to set up the golf course for everybody. If you hit it 320 yards off the tee, or if you hit it 120 yards off the tee, there should be a spot for you. The fairways are much wider. We've essentially doubled the width of the fairways, and yet in doing so, we've reduced the amount of overall irrigated turf. Okay? So we have a wider playing corridors. We've limited the forced carries, the penalty shots that are out there. So hopefully the average golfer will have more fun, be able to get around. We have a lot of short grass around the greens where you can use every club in your bag, and we hope that you do. From a championship test standpoint, we have a ton of flexibility. We can stretch the golf course out to 7,350 yards, par 70. So whether it's an NCGA event or something else, we think we have that flexibility. We've tried to introduce a lot more variety into the golf course. So the way that the routing unfolds, you're going to be constantly moving direction. The holes move in different directions. We go up and down, left and right. There's variety in the lengths of the holes and the size of the greens and the shots that you're going to hit into the greens. Where the trouble is going to be varied throughout your round. Because the site was big and bold and it can get windy out here, the greens are very subtle, right? So hopefully you'll make a lot of putts today. What's going on around the greens is perhaps as important. So I encourage you, if you want to score well, kind of study the areas around the greens. Usually there's some helping contours in one spot and some contours that don't help in others. So figure out what's going to help you and take advantage of those. We won't know for a while how well the golf course will hold up to championship play. But after watching what took place this weekend, I'm convinced that there's a far more interesting golf course with a much better climate that might provide a better championship test right here. The last piece of the vision was to keep it affordable. And on behalf of all 230 plus thousand NCGA members, I would like to thank the NCGA and the Poppy Holding Boards for their commitment to keeping this affordable. I was lucky enough to take a national writer out around a couple days ago, and we were touring around. And as we finished, this writer's seen all of the best golf courses, and he's also spent a lot of time going to all the hidden gems. And as we finished up, his quote was, "I think we have a new contender for best deal in America." So hopefully that holds true. All told, we've set some really, really high goals throughout this process, and I believe we've exceeded every one of them. As others have mentioned, I'm the lucky one who gets to stand up here and talk about this, but as the saying goes, it takes a village. We literally had hundreds of people pouring thousands of hours into this project, and I'd like to take a moment to try and thank them. I'm sure I will miss somebody. I don't mean to, so if that's the case, know that we love and appreciate everybody. But we had a huge, huge team dating back 3 or 4 years ago. From the consultant side, we got a lot of project planning assistance from Dan Garson and Steve Agan. Our biologist was Jeff Froke. Soil science help from Fred Astrom. Multiple agronomists at the USGA. Our civil engineering team at McKay and Somps, led by Chris Gunther. Geotech from Cornerstone. Structures and engineering from Kiewit and Romtech. Irrigation design from Chris and Russ Mitchell. I know Chris is here. It was really fun to watch Chris and his dad out there laying out irrigation in 100-degree heat. Talk about father-son bonding moments, that's the best you can do. Our golf construction partner was Integrity Golf. I think Dave Lindgren is here. There were times out here in the heat of the summer where they've had 80 plus guys. It was a really big operation. We basically scraped an old golf course and built a new one in 5.5 months, and that takes a huge effort. Earthwork from Duntright, paths from Brandon Brooks, sand and gravel from Assured Aggregates, and 65 acres of sod from West Coast Turf. In addition to that, we had an amazing team of shapers, and we were led by Ed Tano. Ed has been shaping for probably 40 plus years, one of the great guys anywhere in the world, and we were able to recruit Ed thanks to Steve. Steve and Ed have had a long relationship going back for decades, and he was able to lock him up. If I had to guess, Ed might have been retained before I was. I first had a chance to work with Ed up at Chambers Bay, and I can't imagine what was going through his head when I was out there as a 25-year-old. But he's one of the great guys in golf. He really served as a mentor to the rest of our team. He always travels with his wife, Cynthia, and it was great to have him here. The bunkers that you see today were largely the work of our Canadian friend, Ben Malik. He was here from start to finish out in the heat and really committed himself to this job. Carl Johnson and Robert Nelson also made great contributions. And then we got assistance from a number of other folks that kind of came in at the last second. All of those outside consultants who helped the course become a reality performed an important role, but nobody played a bigger role on the consultant side than Josh Lewis. Josh is a close friend who I've known for 15 plus years, longtime superintendent. Now he serves in a project management role with Gradeville and Hertzing. And Josh was invaluable on this project. He's the one that I go to when we're out there and I need to bounce ideas off people. I'll come up with some crazy idea and he'll either say, yeah, that's cool, let's run with it, or not this time, bro. That's not the one. He was really valuable on dozens of fronts, but especially in our material testing, dealing with vendors, and it's been touched on before, but schedule and budget. It was a major, major effort to bring this in on time and on budget, and it wouldn't have happened without Josh. So Josh, wherever you are, thank you very much. I was wondering if today was going to be the second day that Josh wore pants, but it wasn't. Shorts all the time. The team here at Poppy Ridge has gone above and beyond. It's really hard to have your golf course shut down and have to answer all the questions in the golf shop. And Mike Kopp and his team, Nick and John in the shop, they've done an amazing job over the last 13 months. In addition to their lovely golf shop duties, they get the privilege of going out on the golf course and picking rocks and helping get the golf course prepared. So we wouldn't be there without the golf shop staff. We want to thank them. To the outside service guys, they're the ones who had to deal with me ruining golf carts over and over and over again. So Kent, Mark, Jody, Greg, and the entire team, we appreciate all your efforts through this. Again, it's hard to be down. Abby Crandall and the team on the inside have done a great job forever. I'm sure they're excited about the new event lawn and actually having a golf course to make use of. But, you know, we'd bring our big construction crew in here and ruin lunch service every day. They'd have to look out and see dirt and wonder when they could sell weddings again. So Abby, Tiffany, Blake, Aaron, Dee Dee, Alexa, Tatiana, thank you for all of your hard work and the rest of the team as well. And then we get to Jeff Mason. Jeff's our golf course superintendent, and he and his team, Avaristas there, and the entire team are behind us. Can't thank these guys enough. It's one thing to sign up to being a golf course superintendent and take care of a golf course. It's another to be told, oh, by the way, you have to maintain one and build another at the same time. And these guys jumped in with both arms. I think there was a stretch here where we had 20 plus days over 100-degree heat, and they were out there from sunup to sundown. It's a big property. It's a tough property. Construction is new and tough, and these guys jumped in and took care of it. Grow-ins are tough. I'm here to tell you that the golf course is in great shape. I've had a chance to see a number of these grow-ins, and Jeff and his team have done an amazing job. I'm excited for you guys to see the fruits of their hard work. I know we're going to sell a lot more merchandise in the golf shop. I hope that some of the merchandise they sell are Jeff's patented Crocs that he's wearing all the time. So. And last but not least, I want to thank Brett Armstrong. You know, I've mentioned the hundreds and hundreds of people who've contributed to this effort. The reality is that none were more important than Brett. All of those consultants had to funnel through Brett. He was the hub of all of our discussions, and everything had to come through him. He signed up to be a golf pro, but now he is an expert when it comes to bathrooms and septics, snack bars, clubhouses, golf, photographers, raters, contractors, budgets, and schedules. It's amazing the variety of tasks that he had to take on. He's been going 18 hours a day for months straight here, doing it, being away from his family. I know there's a lot of facilities that have statues outside for founders and things like that. If there were ever a statue here, it should be of Brett. So I want to thank Brett for all of his efforts. With that, that's all I have. I want to say thank you again. I don't have a glass to raise, but if I did, let's raise a glass. Congratulations. Thank you on this wonderful, wonderful journey.
Jay, thanks for those words. Thanks for all your time on site. We appreciate all your efforts and energy. Well done. At this time, I'd like to introduce our NCGA CEO, Mr. Joe Huston. The handheld is not on. You got to flip it on if you want.
All right. Well, thank you. This is really exciting. We've been on a journey, not just for 14 months on the property, but going back many years that Susan had talked about. But it's time for us to start a new journey, which is the opening and the start of a new era. So we'd ask that we're going to start to do the ceremonial first tee shots. We've been waiting to open the course. So we've got the Magnificent Six that are going to be heading down to the tee. You can make start now. For those up here on the event lawn, we can stand here and we can witness the first tee shots.